The Lost Colony. Chapter 1, Anomalies and Echoes. Captain Alice Petrova nursed a lukewarm cup of ration-packed coffee, its metallic tang a poor substitute for a real espresso. The bridge of her patrol ship, the Valiant, was a familiar symphony of flickering displays and the low hum of the engines. Routine patrol duty in the uncharted Zebal sector wasn't exactly glamorous, but it beat the bureaucratic purgatory of Galactic Command. "Captain," her ever-stoic first officer, Lieutenant Kai Chen, announced, his voice a monotone over the comms. Long-range scanners picking up an unusual energy signature emanating from the jungle planet below, designation novaterra. Alice raised an eyebrow. Unusual? How unusual are we talking? Readings are inconsistent, Captain, fluctuating between low-level geothermal activity and something artificial. Kai tapped a few commands on his console. Doesn't match any known Federation signatures. Alice set down her cup with a clink. Uncharted sectors were her specialty. The thrill of the unknown, a constant itch beneath her jaded exterior. But something about novaterra, a name that whispered of lost dreams and forgotten expeditions, sent a shiver down her spine. Plot a course for a closer look, Kai. Maintain radio silence. The Valiant descended through the atmosphere, the dense jungle canopy below a swirling tapestry of emerald and jade. Alice watched as the automated systems weaved through the treacherous air currents, the ship groaning in protest. "Readings getting stronger, Captain," Kai reported. "Definitely not geothermal." A prickle of unease crawled up Anya's neck. This wasn't just some rogue mining operation. The energy signature felt older, like a faint echo from a bygone era. The jungle thinned, revealing a clearing dominated by crumbling, moss-covered structures. It looked like the ruins of a human settlement, its metal skeleton warped by time and overgrown with alien flora. Anya's breath hitched. Lost colonies weren't unheard of, casualties of humanity's early expansion. But seeing the remnants of what could have been a home, a piece of forgotten Earth clinging to this alien world, stirred a deep ache within her. "Captain," Kai's voice cut through the silence. "Movement detected on the ground. Humanoid figures approaching the ruins." Alice gripped the armrest, her heart pounding against her ribs. Could it be? Survivors? Descendants of the lost colony? She zoomed in on the figures through the ship's magnified view screen. They were humanoid, clad in what appeared to be woven leaves and bioluminescent vines that pulsed with an eerie inner light. Alice adjusted her comm settings. "This is Captain Alice Petrova of the Xeno-Galactic Federation vessel Valiant. Please identify yourselves." Static crackled in response. Then a voice, female and surprisingly melodic, spoke in heavily accented English. "We are the Silvans. Who are you trespassing on our land?" The Silvans. Alice had never encountered this name before. But the echo of humanity in their voice, the way they claimed this place as their own, sent a surge of a strange, hopeful curiosity through her. This patrol, it seemed, was far from routine. Chapter 2, Uneasy Truce. The silence stretched, broken only by the chirping of unseen creatures in the jungle and the whirring of the Valiant's engines. Alice stared at the holographic projection of the woman, her features obscured by the shimmering bioluminescent vines. "Silvans," Alice repeated, choosing her words carefully. "We come in peace. We are explorers of the Xeno-Galactic Federation, a union of sentient species." Another beat of silence. Then the woman spoke again. "Federation? Never heard of it. This land belongs to us. Leave or face the consequences." There was a raw power in her voice, an underlying threat that sent a shiver down Anya's spine. But the woman's posture, the slight hesitation in her words, suggested a sliver of uncertainty. "We mean you no harm," Alice pressed on. "We discovered this settlement by accident. We simply wish to learn more about your people." The holographic woman narrowed her eyes. "We have nothing to teach outsiders. You've seen what remains. Now go." Alice glanced at Kai, his face unreadable but his brow furrowed in concentration. Their standard first contact protocols were useless here. These weren't another advanced alien race, but something far more enigmatic. "Wait," Alice said, an idea forming in her mind. "Can you tell us what happened here? Who built these structures?" The woman remained silent for a long moment, then let out a sigh that seemed to echo through the jungle. These were the homes of our ancestors. They came from a place called Earth. A cold wave washed over Anya. Earth. It couldn't be a coincidence. Could these be descendants of the lost colony? Their DNA somehow merged with the alien flora? Earth, Alice repeated, her voice barely a whisper. When was this? Many generations ago, the woman said, her voice tinged with sadness. Their stories are passed down through generations, fragmented whispers from a distant past. Alice felt a pang of sympathy. These weren't hostile natives, but a people burdened by a forgotten history, clinging to the remnants of their past. We have records of lost Earth colonies, Alice said gently. Perhaps we can help you piece together your history. The woman stared at her, her expression unreadable. Finally, she said, We call ourselves Silvans. This is our home. But trust comes slow for those who trespass. Alice let out a slow breath. We understand. We can wait if you'll allow it. The woman seemed to consider this for a long moment. Then she said, Very well. You may wait, but stay hidden. We do not extend a welcome lightly. The holographic projection flickered and faded, leaving Alice and Kai staring at the empty air. Lost colony confirmed, Kai stated flatly. Unforeseen biomodification and cultural adaptation. Alice nodded silently, a whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. But one thought rose above the rest. Despite the distrust, they were making progress. These weren't just ruins, but a living legacy, a testament to humanity's enduring spirit in the face of the unknown. The story of Novaterra was just beginning, and Anya, with a mix of apprehension and anticipation, found herself drawn deeper into the mystery. Chapter 3: Shadows and Greed. Days bled into nights aboard the Valiant. Alice maintained a cautious vigil, her gaze fixed on the clearing below. The Silvans remained hidden, their bioluminescent glow absent from the dense jungle canopy. The silence was both unsettling and oddly peaceful. One evening, as the alien sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the ruins, a flicker of movement caught Anya's eye. A metallic glint out of place in the verdant landscape. Kai, she barked, pointing towards the anomaly. Zoom in, what is that? Kai manipulated the view screen, revealing a sleek, angular drone descending towards the clearing. Its design screamed corporate greed, a stark contrast to the organic beauty of the jungle. Anya's gut clenched. This wasn't good. Open a private channel to Federation headquarters, she ordered. Inform them of a potential Xeno-Corp incursion on novaterra. Xeno-Corp, a notorious intergalactic mining conglomerate with a reputation for ruthless exploitation. Their presence here could spell disaster for the already fragile peace with the Silvans. As the drone landed, a holographic projection flickered to life. A man with slicked back hair and a predatory grin. His name tag displayed Silas Thorne, CEO, Xeno-Corp. Greetings, whoever you are, Thorne's voice boomed through the speakers. This planet is rich in untapped resources. Stand down and prepare to be assimilated into our mining operation. Anya's hand tightened around the armrest. Assimilation? This wasn't a simple mining operation, it was a hostile takeover. We are the Xeno-Galactic Federation, she countered, her voice laced with steel. This planet is under our protection, Thorne scoffed. Federation patrols don't just appear out of thin air. You're trespassing. Consider this a warning. Leave or face the consequences. Alice ignored his threat. This planet is inhabited, she said, hoping to leverage the Silvan's presence. We advise you to leave peacefully. Thorne's grin widened, devoid of humor. Inhabited? By what? Primitive natives? We can handle those. A cold anger coursed through Anya. These weren't primitives. They were the Silvans, a people with a rich history, and they deserved respect. They are not primitives, Alice said, her voice firm. They are the descendants of Earth colonists. The silence that followed was heavy. Then Thorne's demeanor shifted. Curiosity replaced his arrogance. Earth colonists? He repeated, his voice laced with a hint of disbelief. Intriguing. Perhaps there's more to this backwater planet than meets the eye. Alice felt a shiver crawl down her spine. Xeno-Corp's greed had just taken a new, more dangerous turn. The Silvans' hidden history, their connection to Earth, could become a bargaining chip, a weapon in the wrong hands.
"We won't allow you to exploit them or this planet," Alice declared, her voice resonating with a newfound determination. "Leave, now!" Thorn's eyes narrowed. "This isn't over, Federation. We'll have this planet one way or another." The holographic projection flickered and vanished. The drone, with a menacing whir, lifted off and disappeared into the jungle canopy. Alice turned to Kai, her face grim. "Looks like we have a new problem. And this time, it's bigger than just first contact." The jungle, once a source of curiosity, now held a new kind of threat. Alice knew they couldn't let Xenocorp exploit the Silvans or this pristine world. But how to protect them without revealing their existence, without breaking the fragile trust they'd built? This was a challenge unlike any she'd faced before, and Anya, for the first time, felt a flicker of doubt. But then she looked at the holographic image of the Earth in the ship's database, a symbol of humanity's enduring spirit. This was humanity's lost colony, and somehow she would find a way to defend them. Chapter 4: Echoes of Power. The jungle floor trembled with a low rumble, a tremor that sent a jolt through the Valiant. Alice and Kai exchanged worried glances. The drone's arrival seemed to have triggered something. "Captain," Kai reported, his voice tense. "Seismic activity increasing, originating from the planet's core." Alice frowned. This wasn't a natural geological event. It felt deliberate, almost hostile. A holographic message flickered on the screen, the familiar bioluminescent glow illuminating Anya's face. It was the woman, the leader of the Silvans. "We feel the disturbance," her voice echoed through the bridge. "The greed of your people has awakened something ancient, something buried deep within the planet." Anya's heart hammered against her ribs. "What do you mean? What have we awakened?" "The devourers," the woman said, a note of dread creeping into her voice. "Swarms of ravenous creatures that feast on the planet's core. They were imprisoned long ago, but now—" The message abruptly cut off, leaving Alice and Kai staring at the blank screen. Panic twisted in Anya's gut. Xenocorp's arrival had unleashed an unforeseen danger, a potential threat not just to the Silvans, but to the entire planet. "We need to warn them," Alice said, her voice tight. "They need to evacuate." But before she could initiate another message, a terrifying roar echoed through the jungle, a primal sound that sent chills down Anya's spine. Alarms blared on the bridge as readings on the main screen spiked. Dark shapes pulsed on the thermal imaging, massive, serpentine creatures with glowing red eyes, erupting from the ground near the Silvans' hidden village. The jungle erupted in chaos. Screams and panicked shouts rose above the guttural roars of the devourers. Alice watched in horror as the bioluminescent glow surrounding the ruins flickered and died, replaced by the crimson glow of the creature's eyes. "They're attacking the village!" Kai exclaimed, his fist clenching around the console. Alice felt a surge of anger and determination. These weren't just innocent bystanders anymore. They were the descendants of humanity, facing a monstrous threat. And Alice Petrova, jaded Federation captain or not, wouldn't abandon them. "Open a channel to all Federation vessels within range," Alice ordered, her voice steady despite the rising panic. "This is Captain Alice Petrova of the Valiant. We are under attack on Novaterra, requesting immediate assistance." There was a moment of static, then a reply crackled through the speakers. "This is Captain Ramirez of the freighter Andromeda. We are in range. What's the situation?" "Hostile alien life forms," Alice replied, her gaze fixed on the horrifying scene unfolding on the screen. Large, predatory creatures attacking a settlement. Alice hesitated, torn between revealing the Silvans' secret and the urgency of the situation. Then she made her decision. "They need immediate aid," she continued, her voice firm. "Prepare for combat. The Valiant might not be a warship, but it was armed." Alice wasn't sure how effective they would be against these creatures. But they couldn't just stand by. It was time to show the devourers in the entire galaxy the true meaning of human spirit. On the bridge of the Valiant, Captain Alice Petrova took a deep breath, her finger hovering over the firing button, ready to fight for the survival of a lost colony and defend the forgotten echoes of humanity. Chapter 5: A New Dawn. The jungle vibrated with the cacophony of battle. The Valiant's cannons roared, spitting fire at the encroaching devourers. The freighter Andromeda, repurposed for defense, unleashed a hail of laser fire that ripped through the darkness. But the devourers were relentless, their massive bodies writhing through the undergrowth, their glowing eyes fixated on their prey. Alice watched with a mixture of awe and horror as bioluminescent vines erupted from the ruins, weaving through the air like living whips, ensnaring and constricting the creatures. The Silvans were fighting back, their bioluminescent connection with the jungle empowering them with a strange organic defense. Alice felt a surge of respect for this resilient people who had adapted to this alien world and learned to harness its power. "Captain," Kai reported, pointing at the screen, "energy readings from the Silvan's village are spiking." Alice followed his gaze. The bioluminescent glow around the ruins intensified, pulsing with an almost rhythmic vibration. Then, with a blinding flash, a wave of pure white light erupted from the village, engulfing the attacking devourers. The creatures screeched in agony, their bodies convulsing as the light washed over them. One by one they disintegrated, leaving behind only wisps of smoke and the stench of burnt flesh. A stunned silence descended upon the jungle. The remaining devourers recoiled, their glowing eyes flickering with uncertainty. Then, with a final guttural roar, they turned and retreated back into the depths of the planet. Alice slumped back in her chair, relief washing over her, mixed with a sense of exhilaration. They had won against all odds. But the victory came at a cost. The clearing surrounding the ruins was a mess of scorched earth and tangled vines. The bioluminescent glow emanating from the village flickered weakly. Then a holographic projection shimmered into existence, revealing the familiar figure of the Silvan woman. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with exhaustion and gratitude. "You fought bravely. For us, for our home." Alice found herself smiling, a genuine smile that seemed to erase years of jaded cynicism. "We did what any human would do," she replied. The woman tilted her head, her bioluminescent eyes searching Anya's face. "Human? You are like them?" "We are," Alice confirmed, a surge of pride swelling within her. "Descendants of those who came here long ago." The woman seemed to ponder this revelation for a moment. Then a small smile played on her lips. "Perhaps," she said, "this is the beginning of a new story, a story where humans and Silvans stand together." The holographic image flickered and faded. Alice glanced at Kai, a silent understanding passing between them. This wasn't just about a successful first contact. This was about rediscovering a lost legacy, a connection to humanity's past. Moments later, a Federation shuttle landed in the clearing. Captain Ramirez emerged, his face grim. "Captain Petrova," he said, his voice laced with a hint of disapproval. "Your unauthorized actions." Alice held up a hand, silencing him. She pointed at the ruins, now bathed in the soft glow of the returning sunrise. "This is what we were protecting," she said, her voice firm. Ramirez followed her gaze, his jaw slackening in surprise. He turned back to Anya, a newfound respect in his eyes. "Report incoming," he finally said. "We'll deal with Xenocorp. But for now, you stay. You've earned their trust, Captain. You're the bridge between two worlds." Alice nodded, a strange warmth spreading through her chest. This wasn't the routine patrol she expected. This was the start of something bigger, a new chapter in humanity's exploration of the galaxy, one where they wouldn't just discover new worlds, but rediscover forgotten echoes of their own.